very much for that. Ben, let me welcome you back onto the programme. And sticking with health issues, pharmacies and so on are becoming the front line as far as most people are concerned. So what have you got?
Absolutely. And thanks, Cheryl, for that. That was fascinating and incredibly revealing and really relevant to what I'm going to come on to now. So we're going to talk a bit about the NHS, privatisation, digitisation, the ever closer integration of the health system with the pharmaceutical industry. And we're just going to kick things off by hearing from Boots, the chemist.
The NHS Pharmacy First Service represents a major change for patients accessing care for minor ailments in England. It gives patients the opportunity to access care in their pharmacy first for treatments for 7 common conditions rather than going to their GP to get a prescription. The NHS anticipate that this service will help to save 10 million GP appointments by next winter.
Pharmacy First is a hugely positive development. It frees up time for GPs like myself so that we can offer help to patients with different healthcare needs. It'll be great that they can now extend their support for our patients with the Pharmacy First service.
So, we're told that Pharmacy First is all about reducing demand on GPs and transforming primary care. It's certainly transforming primary care, but I think the main outcome of this is just making it easier to get pharmaceuticals out to the public. Yeah, call me cynical. This is a huge business. Boots is the biggest chemist in the country. It's 175 years old. They handle well over £10 billion a year in NHS prescriptions. It's a huge business for them. And the idea for this is to make it even bigger. They're effectively becoming the front door to the NHS. This is public-private partnership that we've talked about a lot. It's not just Boots, by the way. It's also the smaller pharmacies. This is taking place across the UK, but obviously Boots has got a big marketing budget, so they've done a nice fancy video about it. And the other thing that jumped out at me about that was the presence in the film of this lady, Dr Sara Kayat, who came to some prominence, or certainly came to my awareness, after this appearance on Good Morning Britain in early 2021.
Well, what's really excellent is, and it's a statistic that I think should be shouted from the rooftops, is that after 12 days from the first vaccination of the AstraZeneca vaccine, you are 100% effective against hospitalisation and death. So, you know, those are the statistics we need to be hearing.
Why haven't we heard that before?
Well, here I am.
Okay, so that aged like a pint of milk on a hot summer's day, didn't it, for the interviewer and the interviewee? 100% prevention of death. That was quite a bold claim, wasn't it? Apart from, we've seen quite a bit of death, not just from vaccinated people who've caught COVID, but also via the yellow card reporting scheme, which Cheryl talked about earlier, through all the adverse reactions to the AstraZeneca vaccine that the doctor there was just talking about. So if we just click on, we can see in the bottom there that we've had 1,364 deaths directly from that vaccine, and the thick end of 1 million adverse reactions, some of those really serious injuries. Now, for my money, that young woman should have been struck off, and potentially facing criminal charges for what she did there. But apparently, Boots think that she's someone who should be being given a lucrative contract pushing further medicalisation and privatisation of healthcare. Really, really odd stuff going on in the health system at the moment. Boots, by the way, is run by one of this mob. You'll probably be familiar with the photo. This is the Bullingdon Club. You can see Boris Johnson, bottom, front right, and David Cameron up the back there. But also this guy, Seb James, in the front left. So he's the current chief executive of Boots. He's been there for about 6 years now, earns the thick end of £2 million a year on his basic salary, plus bonuses, etc. And he is running a major part of this integrated public-private health system. Okay, and this is what's happening in the NHS right now. What else are they doing? What else are they building? A drone delivery network. This popped up on my radar this week, and ultimately the goal of this, we have to understand is to deliver pharmaceuticals more efficiently to patients. They're building it nationally. We can see from the website of this company, Appian, that this is a national network. It gives you a sense of the coverage, what we're talking about across the entire health system. This lady, Juliette Bauer, recently joined their board as Chief Commercial Officer. So she's basically responsible for the commercial operations and the growth of this enterprise. But she's also, at the same time, a current serving governor of Chelsea and Westminster Hospital NHS Foundation Trust. So she's working inside the NHS as well as building a private enterprise in the health system. I do not understand how this is possible. How can Juliette Bauer be doing that work? And she's been working in the health system like this for quite some time. Before she joined Appian, she was also the Chief Growth Officer and UK Managing Director of an organisation called CRY, which is a Swedish digital GP business, which is, again, just one of these digital platform players that's been building big commercial operations on top of our health system, because apparently the NHS is incapable of building and deploying its own technology. And Juliette Bauer would know that, because before that, she was the Chief Digital Officer of the NHS between 2016 and 2019. Quite a remarkable CV that she has. She also used to work, when she was at CRY, with this fella. And I want to just bring him up because he's a fascinating character, Johannes Schilt. He looks like a Bond villain. I don't know if you can see properly, but he's one of his eyes and he's a different colour to the other one, and he's slightly greyed out. But also, he's got this fascinating image in his LinkedIn profile at the top there, which I think tells you a lot about how these people think, right? They basically view the world as a computer simulation that they can manipulate using their technology platforms. And we can see this playing out in the way that the NHS is expanding into virtual wards. We've got a short film here to explain a bit more about that.
What is a virtual ward? Virtual wards provide hospital-level care and remote monitoring in your own home. They allow you either to stay at home, receive care at home, or after being in hospital, to continue your treatment at home where you are most comfortable. There is emerging evidence to show that patients have better outcomes when treated at home rather than being treated in hospital. Virtual wards have teams of healthcare professionals near to you who can provide high-quality care to you, either face-to-face, in your own home, or remotely, usually supported with clinical advice, cutting-edge monitoring devices, smartphones, and other technology. They are evolving to manage a wider range of medical conditions that would otherwise be treated in hospital, particularly for frail patients and those with acute respiratory infections. Thousands of people across England are benefiting from being treated at home on a virtual ward.
So you can get a sense of what the NHS is up to. It is attempting to become omnipresent. Yeah, they are building a digitally enabled biotechnological surveillance network. It's going to be across the whole UK. It's going to be in your bedroom, your living room. It's going to be enabled by these drone technologies, and it's being delivered through public-private partnerships, which, as we've spoken about extensively on the news, is the dictionary definition of fascism. This is all extremely concerning.
Yeah, and not just public-private partnerships, Ben, but public-private partnerships where some of the key staff seem to be working on both sides of, on the public and in the private. So that's a key point.
Quite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on. If you like what the UK Column does, you would like to support us, please head over to support.ukcolumn.org. All the options for helping us out are there, and your help very much needed and appreciated. You could pick something up at the UK Column shop, but please do share anything you find on the various platforms, especially ukcolumn.org and ukcolumnextracts.co.uk. Debbie, your latest blog is up.
It is happiness, big business happiness, as is fluoride going to be a big agenda too. So all of those subjects and more. And the bubonic plague and the Alaska pox, just a bit of a warning, cats. We seem to be targeting cats. So please check it out. Sorry, Debbie, did we not target cats during COVID as well? We did indeed, and we seem to be appearing to target cats again for both bubonic plague and Alaska pox. Okay, thank you.
Yesterday, the Gutsy Woman interview went out with Dan Rasmussen McCaddy. That will be on the website later on today, we expect. And on Sunday, let's remember the Midazolam murders, exposing state-sanctioned involuntary euthanasia. This is a symposium taking place on the UK Column website, 6 p.m. on Sunday. Do join us for that if you possibly can, because that's going to be a pretty hard-hitting event. We just were asked to remind everybody that the petition is being run to end the UK's adoption of UN Agenda 2030 and the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. If anybody would like to sign that, please do so. And we were also asked to point this out. There's a consultation going on at the moment around the storage and retention of original will documents. So this is documents that are held with respect to probate, and they've been being held in paper form, I believe, since the mid-1800s. The government is consulting on the plan to digitize all these and then destroy the original documents. They say they're going to retain some of the documents that have originated with well-known people, but otherwise everything is going to be destroyed. And there's some concern that that's going to result in certain records being lost. So just wanted to point that out to everybody to have a look and see if you want to make a response to that consultation.